Ingles has done a good job on Redick so far. Takes the ball right away from him. And Ingles can't get the layup, but he's fouled. And J.J. Redick, as you've talked about, Doug, loves to get going early. And it's been hard with Ingles and his grill. Redick picks up his first foul.
Well, he blocked one of his early.
Game 2 in the series here in L.A. on TNT Tuesday. Then the series moves to Salt Lake City next Friday on ESPN2. Ingles gets the second free throw. He was number 3 in the NBA in three-point shooting. He's 29 years old, but only his 3rd NBA season. He's from Australia. 4 straight points by Utah. They still have Favors in the game at the center position guarding DeAndre Jordan. Chris Paul, 3 points, 2 assists early on. Here's Ba Mute. And of all the options on the floor, that's probably not the one the Clippers wanted, but they get a loose ball foul. And again, that's so hard with not a true center, and they're trying to get Jordan off the glass. Favors picking up his second foul.
Yeah, you're so used to Rudy Gobert getting all those rebounds. Now you've got to get back in there and gang rebound. But Jeff Withey's getting ready to check in. He's got pretty good size and a little bit bigger than Favors. You know, Favors really more of a power forward. But, you know, coming off the bench, we talked to Quinn. He said, I've got to get this guy and get him involved and stuff, so I'm playing as a backup 5. That's really not his position.
Yeah, Quinn said he wasn't sure we'd see Withey at all tonight.
So that's what that injury to Gobert in 17 seconds this game did to this game 1.
Griffin off the mark on the jumper. Griffin missed 18 games during the season with a knee injury. Chris Paul missed 21 total games as Withey is fouled by Griffin his first. And when Chris Paul was out of the lineup, the Clippers struggled. They were 8-13. When Chris Paul played, they were 43-18. And look, he's not in the MVP race. There are too many other great candidates, but he's had another fantastic season. Probably is a bit underappreciated.
I think when you look at both of these teams with the injuries they went through, wouldn't you think that they're both better than their 51 wins? When you think of all the games that George Hill and all these other guys missed,
yes.
Favors and for Utah, and for you looked at the Clippers, they're 19-23 in the 42 games that Griffin and Chris Paul. That means they were 32-8 when those two guys played together.
Yet, despite that, their record is the exact same as the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes, and that's why I said I think when you look at these teams could easily be 55 or 56 win teams had they been healthy all season long.
Griffin able to muscle it home off the glass. Terrific shot by Griffin, his second basket.
Chris Paul really fighting George Hill, trying not to let him get a ball back, and Hill just continued to stay persistent, did not give up on the play. How often have we seen this play now, David, in the NBA now, where guys get ahead of the guy and they feel him on their hip, and they sort of stop, and a guy gets a foul, pushing him in the back. Watch this play now. Watch what George Hill does. Just keeps working. Now watch him stop, and Chris Paul right there coming in from behind. We see that so often in the NBA now, especially off screen roll.
He'll miss the free throw. He's a great foul shooter. What a year he's had, though. He missed a double dribble called here on Blake Griffin in the backcourt. You don't see that very often. Bill Spooner making that call. But what a year that George Hill has had. And we talked about the success for the Clippers when Chris Paul plays. When George Hill plays, Utah's a different team, 33-16. They were barely above 500 when he was out of the lineup.
Well, he just fits beautifully into this system, the way they want to play. He's a very good defender. And I tell you, the guy who's really helped him also, Joe Ingles is a better playmaker than you would think. He can play pick and roll. We've already seen him make a couple plays here early in the game as Withey with the drive around DeAndre Jordan.
And the Jazz with the lead for the first time, so a nice response after losing Gobert. And then a foul called on Withey. Ba Mute will go to the line. 13th foul on Utah.
You know, sometimes you got to be careful. You're DeAndre Jordan here. You think, I'm playing Withey, maybe he's not going to look to attack me, and he just sort of a little sneaky move there on the baseline. So DeAndre Jordan, you got to understand, even though maybe Gobert's not in the game or Favors, he doesn't want to let he get those kind of easy buckets.
Well, the Clippers for several years have struggled to find that small forward as Jamal Crawford gets an ovation coming into the game. And they don't need Bamute to score a lot. They just need him to defend Gordon Hayward to win this series.
And when he has a shot, you have to take it because you don't want to be playing 4-on-5 out there. You want to be able to space the floor, and he can knock down an open shot from those corners. And he's a very good cutter against double teams and all. So he's just got to stay active and make sure you have to guard him.
Joe Johnson in the game, by the way, for Utah. He has had a huge impact on this Jazz team in his first year in Salt Lake. Hayward lost the ball, and boy, looked like he fouled Chris Paul. Now a foul is called on George Hill. His first 6 years in the NBA combined.
I see Joe Johnson is in now playing as a power forward, playing that stretch four. It's really the position he's
Rim, though.
Well, you can see what happened on that play. Withy coming from the baseline side. Joe Johnson did a nice job of keeping him out of the middle, and then Withy comes over, got good size, was a good shot blocker when he was at Kansas.
In his fourth NBA season now, so the timer reset to 11. Here's Paul weaving through defenders. There's the lob! Boy, they baited the Jazz into that.
Now, if you would have seen Gobert on the floor tonight, those are the same kind of plays he plays for the Utah Jazz, rolling to the rim and catching lobs.
Here's Ingles for three. Too strong. Corralled by Jordan. Chris Paul already with 5 assists here in the opening quarter. Clippers by 4.
Better let this guy get started.
In and out. But Jordan with the rebound, and then Withy commits his second foul. So both Withy and Favors will have to guard DeAndre Jordan with 2 fouls apiece now.
And I tell you, look out DeAndre Jordan. Look at this guy's body. I mean, look how strong he is. And this is what Chris Paul does. He snakes with that little screen roll, gets 2 on the ball. Weak side, can't get over there and help. But, I mean, is there a stronger guy in the NBA when you look at DeAndre Jordan? Proportionally how he's built, his strength in his lower body and shoulders. This guy's a tremendous athlete.
By the way, they changed that foul to George Hill, his second. Jordan shot the ball better at the line this year, 48%. Led the NBA in field goal percentage for the 5th straight year. Only Wilt and Shaq had done that prior to Jordan accomplishing the feat this year. Won a gold medal with the Olympic team, named first team All-NBA last year. Was a second-round pick out of Texas A&M.
He's one of those guys who has worked to make himself a great player. When he was in college, he was not in great shape, wasn't in great condition. You look at him now, and he said he's one of the best conditioned athletes. I saw him this summer in Rio, the job he did for that gold medal winning team when he anchored their defense, when Coach K moved him into the starting lineup during the medal round.
He gets both free throws, 8 straight points for the Clippers. Sheldon Mack is on the floor for Utah, playing the backup point guard. Gordon Hayward finally on the board, so he gets his first points of the game at the 4-minute mark of the first quarter.
Well, he's got to stay aggressive. He's got to look for his shot. He's got to get about 20 shots today.
Here's a steal by Ingles again. Being chased by Crawford, and Crawford wisely just grabs him.
I told you about Ingles. He's sneaky. You know, he's got long arms. He reads passing lanes very well. Look at him. This is his second steal. He's had a block shot. He's had a nice assist. And so he's fit well into that starting lineup because he gives them another playmaker out there to go along with George Hill. And he helps Hayward because he can stretch the floor and shoot the 3. So he's a big part of this team.
Was in training camp with the Clippers 2 years ago, but they didn't want him. Found a home in Utah, though. Tomorrow on ABC, Game 1 between the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers. Coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Boy, Portland playing really well, but is Nurkic going to be available? And if he is he 100%? You would think to have any chance in that series, they need him.
No question, because he at least gives them a presence inside. You can throw the ball in the post. You can play out of the post with him. He's a good passer. And we know Lillard and McCollum, both those guys are capable of throwing up huge nights.
Kevin Durant's Golden State Warrior playoff debut tomorrow on ABC. Here's Paul driving, fires to Spates, and Spates can't get the bounce, but another foul underneath on Joe Johnson.
You know, I know I've said it about 2 or 3 times, but, you know, without Gobert in there, this is a guy who normally just gobbles up all those defensive rebounds. And now you've got Joe Johnson in there, who's played the majority of his career as a small forward. Now, he has gotten bigger and stronger through his years, but you're asking him to get in there and arm wrestle around now with Blake Griffin, and that's a tough task.
It's a different team, right?
Yes.
Without Gobert, especially when you consider the matchup.
And again, what it does for them offensively, Dave, you lose that screen roll in the middle of the floor where the defense collapses and you kick the shooters. You can play on the second side of the floor, and that's what Utah does. They move the ball, they play side to side, the ball doesn't stick. And without Gobert out there right now, I mean, you can feel it on both sides of the floor.
Blake Griffin has averaged more points against Utah in his career than any other team in the Western Conference, and he stretches the lead to 5. Griffin with 9 points here in the opening quarter. Hayward able to shake Bamute, but he is 1 of 4 now from the floor. Paul directing traffic, gives it up and gets it back. Paul's jumper around and out.
So Utah's very deliberate. They very rarely get a fast break.
Near the bottom of the league in offensive possessions. That's one of the reasons why they give up the fewest points in the NBA. Open 3, Johnson. Joe Johnson shot as well at the three-point line as Steph Curry did this year. That 3 gets Utah within 2. A timeout.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by LG G6, the big screen that fits in your hand, and the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Right now, get any small McDonald's smoothie, frappe, or shake for $2. How do you top a deal like that? Hurry in, only at McDonald's.
The new Galaxy S8 has the world's first infinity screen, which makes your world infinitely bigger. A camera fast enough to catch this, and intelligent enough to understand what it sees. And it takes you anywhere you can imagine, which makes it infinitely amazing.
We're out of ink. Not ink.
Printing doesn't have to be painful. Now, during HP Savings Month at Staples, get up to $180 off HP printers.
They said it was impossible to have great-tasting light beer. Boom. Award-winning Heineken Light, brewed with Cascade hops. They also said it was impossible to hypnotize you. You are getting sleepy. Watch the beer.
Take on the mainstream. Introducing Nissan's new Midnight Edition.
That's it! The LA Sparks champion!
We undeniable. This ain't a choir group. Tell the entire truth and let it set you free. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable.
Well, the first time down the floor, Clippers have possession. Watch the left side of your screen. Bamute collides with the left knee of Rudy Gobert just 11 seconds into the game. He had to be helped off the floor, And J.A. Adonde has the latest on Gobert's injury.
Dave, the initial word from the Jazz is Gobert suffered a left knee sprain and will not return. Tonight. Is that you, Dave?
Well, what does that mean for the Jazz the rest of this game?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to strengthen numbers. Right now, they've already played 10 guys, and they're just going to have to find a way that everybody's got to do a little bit. Nobody's going to make up for his absence by themselves. They're going to have to do it collectively.
Well, Hayward already at 4 rebounds. He averages just 5 boards per game. Withey's played some good minutes at center. Derek Favors picked up 2 fouls when he came in to replace the injured Gobert. Now you got Joe Johnson with 4 to shoot. And the former Hawk can't get the 3, made one earlier. Well, Chris Paul has been involved in all 6 Clipper baskets. He's got a field goal and 5 assists. Spade face-up jumper, no good. Griffin's tip, no, and there's another foul. They just cannot keep Jordan and Griffin off the offensive glass.
And, you know, we talked to Doc Rivers before the game. This is when Rudy Gobert was healthy, and he talked about, you know, rebounding, especially maybe even second shot opportunities could be very important. Because I said to him, I said, how can you get some easy baskets, some easy scores against this team? And he said, maybe we get on the offensive boards, and we're seeing that. And he felt like that even if Gobert were playing.
10 points already for Blake Griffin. Rudy Gobert, a former late first-round pick by Denver, has had a breakout season, leading the NBA in blocks, number 2 in field goal percentage, 4th in rebounding. A lot of people think he'll be the defensive player of the year. Some have him first-team All-NBA center.
Well, I think it'll be either he or Draymond Green as a defensive player of the year. And you know what I love about him is he's signed a large extension this summer, and he's come back a better player. You know, sometimes guys get a little content, but this guy's got a lot of fire in his belly. He wants to be a great player.
They will have a couple of days off before Game 2 Tuesday. Obviously, Gobert done for the night. Here's Shelvin Mack up top. They'll let him shoot that. 31% of the year from 3. Clippers by 4. Minute and a half gone left here in the first quarter. Felton on the floor running the point. No field goals for the Clippers in the last 3.5 minutes. Felt with 3 to shoot. And boy, they need him to step up in the playoffs. He did not play well offensively down the stretch. Especially with Austin Rivers out. Here's Diaw in the lane. Open 3 for Boris Diaw is good.
Now that possession right there was a clinic, and that's the way Utah plays. When they play like that, they are tough on the offensive end. Remember I told you got to play them right to the end of the clock. They kept penetrating, kicking, getting into the paint till they finally got an open 3.
109th career playoff game as Ingles almost gets another steal. Diaw has played over 100 games in the playoffs, won a championship with San Antonio in 2014. And he's always a guy that makes big plays in the postseason.
Well, watch this ball movement. We already saw it in the paint. The drive out the kick. It's in the paint again. So they 3 paint touches, and Diaw ends up with an open 3.
Corner 3 from Mbah a Moute. Career high in 3-point shooting this year for Mbah a Moute, and it's a 4-point LA lead. 4-second difference here between the clocks. Back on the drive, trying to Diaw knocked out of bounds. seconds, 2 seconds on the shot clock for the Jazz. Boy, Ba Mouteh's had a very solid first quarter.
That's one of those guys. He's such a glue. Doc Rivers talks about it all the time about if he averaged 10 to 12 points a game, he would be talked about at first team all defense. What a great play. Great play.
Boris Diaw with the dunk. 4.7 to go in the quarter. Don't sleep on Jamal Crawford. Mid-court try. Just off the back rim. So how about that? No Gobert. Blake Griffin goes off for 11 points, and Utah's only down 2 to the Clippers here in game 1. Griffin, 11 points, 3 of 7, and 1 3-point basket.